we gotta do another anti-haul. Now you guys know I don't do too many of these, mainly because I feel that other YouTubers cover all these bases. For example, all of the recent Too Faced releases. But I gotta do this one because I saw something that I haven't seen anybody talking about. I desperately want it, but I can't buy it. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to go over some other stuff that I also will not be buying. And as you guys know, I'm not affiliated with any of these companies. This is just my opinion, and this video is just for entertainment purposes, so don't take it too seriously. We got to start with a duo of palettes, if you will, and that is going to be this guy and this guy. So this is the Cargo Star Wars collection, and let me tell you guys, I didn't even know this was happening until I stumbled upon it on the Kohl's website. Randomly stumbled upon it. I almost spit out my coffee everywhere. I'm going, what? There's a Star Wars palette? No, hold on. There's 2 Star Wars palettes, and I do not know about them? Number one, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Long time Star Wars fan. Read the books in elementary school, was that geek, yes. Number 2, I am big in makeup. How did I not know about this? So I'm sure you guys can imagine this thought process. I'm going add to cart at the speed of light. And then this little voice in my head says, Alice, hold on. We gotta chat. Okay, so you guys see this palette, right? This is the light side palette, the Jedi palette, I guess, the Rebel Alliance palette. I understand in some ways what was going on with this color scheme. The whole deal with Star Wars is that it's set in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago. You all know this. And it's pretty post-apocalyptic of an atmosphere. It's a whole fantasy world, and it's rather dark and gloomy. But the thing is, the Rebel Alliance, the Jedis, the light side of the Force is trying to bring light back into this post-apocalyptic, prehistoric fantasy world. That's the point. Now, when I look at this palette, it looks, I guess, on trend. But the problem I have with this is probably not going to appeal to a lot of people who already own these colors in the Naked Heat, in the Tarte Toasted palette, in the Modern Renaissance, and how many warm palettes do we have? I feel like what happened with this palette is that somebody who was designing a palette and came from a makeup side of things watched a movie for 10 minutes, said, okay, that's the scheme and warm colors are on trend, let's go with it, and totally neglected the fact that Star Wars fans are going to look at this and say, well, that's not really quite the light side. I mean, it kind of is, but it should be so much more. This palette, to me, there is just so incredibly much that they could have done with this. I mean, how big is R2-D2? Everybody loves R2-D2. Give us a white and a blue in there. Shake it up just a little bit. That's what the Rebel Alliance is supposed to do. Give me a bright neon green. Give me a lightsaber color. Oh my, can you imagine how amazing that would be? This palette just had so much potential. Now, I don't want to get too mad at Cargo, because I kind of appreciate some things about Cargo. I do think that in a lot of ways they probably turned in a lot of designs to Disney, and Disney had to decide and say, well, this is the one. And whoever it was that decided clearly also wasn't a real Star Wars fan. But the other thing about Cargo is that if you guys remember Cargo, they were pretty popular years and years ago, and Cargo never got on that bandwagon of sending out tons and tons of PR and doing the whole online thing. It's not their specialty. I don't think they're good at it at all, to be honest with you. So I've not seen anybody who's received this as PR, which means there's no reviews going up, which means absolutely nobody is talking about it. There must be some kind of a balance here, because I know a lot of people who watch YouTube have become aware of the way that PR is kind of not always 100% true. You know, people that receive free PR want to continue to receive it. They want to maintain a good relationship with the company. They have a tendency to skew things in a positive direction. Okay, fine, I get that, but at the same time, you gotta have some basic exposure. I haven't even talked about this palette. This is the Dark Side of the Force, the Sith palette. Granted, this one should be darker. I get that. I appreciate the effort at attempting those dark purple, dark green colors going on there, but there should be at least a bright color to represent the lightsabers of the Sith. I just don't understand why these palettes are so gloomy. There's so much more to the Star Wars world, and I guess that's my bottom line. As a makeup fan and a Star Wars fan, I should already own those palettes. Apparently I should have owned them for a month, but the advertising has been absolutely horrendous, and the palettes are uninteresting and not, in my opinion, Star Wars. This is the weirdest thing to anti-haul because I really want to buy it, but I can't. I don't think I've ever anti-hauled anything quite like this before, because this to me is just so disappointing that I can't buy it, if that makes sense. The Kim Kardashian West. Do we have a name for this yet? This is loose powders and lip glosses. My problem with the entire Kim Kardashian West everything is that it's all products that we already own. This has been the story of this brand, and yet somehow it's making, how many millions are we at? I don't even know. I don't want to know. But it's nothing new and groundbreaking, and here, let me read to you what made me particularly upset. So this nonsense right here came to me through something called the Zoe Report. Kim Kardashian West just confirmed this makeup trend is about to be huge. What are you talking about? Do you think for a second that nobody has used loose powders and lip glosses? What world am I living in? That's not a trend. That's makeup. These marketing techniques that I keep seeing that make you feel like, oh my god, I gotta go buy this thing. I'm over it. I'm over it. Stop it. How can Kim Kardashian West even confirm a trend? Is she the one who runs the trends? Don't answer that. But is she? Is she really? No, trends are something that is supposed to happen as a consequence of a whole lot of people doing something. You cannot have as a trend a product that has not been released. Oh, it drives me crazy. I'm so thoroughly over the approach that these companies are taking. And there's another one. Let me find that one. I don't even know what this is related to. I just want to bring this up. I saw this from Pop Sugar. If you haven't bought this life-changing lipstick yet, you need to check yourself ASAP. No, you don't. No, you don't. There is no such thing as a life-changing lipstick. Ugh. I'm not trying to get myself so worked up, but I hate it. I hate it. If you're gonna sell a lipstick, sell it as it's this color, it's this texture. Stop with the dang clickbait. Stop it. Clickbaiting us into buying lipstick. It's offensive to me. It's offensive. No, you do not need to do anything ASAP except for, you know, live, breathe, that kind of thing. It's pure capitalism. It's pure exploitation. It's what it is. And it makes me so mad, and I see it so much from certain brands that start with a K. It's exploitive. I've really grown quite an appreciation for the brands that don't do any of this. You guys saw my haul. I just bought some Viseart. I've never once seen Viseart clickbait somebody. You know why? Because they know their products are freaking good. They know it's good, the product can sell itself. These companies that have to sell you ideas and have to sell you celebrities, they're exploiting you. It's what it is. I'm sorry. It is what it is. But back to this product itself. The next KKW rollout will be a set of 5 metallic lip glosses. Nobody's ever made those before. With accompanying loose shimmer powders. The hues range from rose gold to yellow gold. I'm over it. This is absolutely nothing new. I'm just... Kim, look. If you want to start a trend, you gotta come out with something we've never seen before. You gotta do it that way. I guess my other comment with this is that even if these are good quality, which maybe they are, I have no idea. Does anyone have these yet? I don't think so. It's still... You don't need to spend as much as this brand prices everything at. You price it to pay for Kim Kardashian to be applying your makeup, but really all you're getting is dust. You're getting dust and goop. Don't get me wrong, I like my dust and goop, but I don't need to feel like it's associated with a celebrity. My dust and goop can come from wherever I want it to. At this point in my life, I don't think it's possible to do an anti-haul without Too Faced coming up in some way. It's just a necessity. They gotta be there, whether it's palettes or whatever else they're coming out with. This time it's a face mask. Glow job. I mean, I get you're trying to be cute and funny. I get it. But it's not. And glittery face mask, as somebody who's quite the skincare enthusiast, I can with great confidence tell you that glitter doesn't do anything for your skin. Which means by default, if you're buying a product that is a skincare product that has glitter in it, to some extent you're paying for glitter in your skincare. I just don't get it. I have a feeling this will sell, and I'm disheartened that it will, because I know so many face masks that I love that people haven't even heard of that are absolutely incredible. I even recently tried out the L'Oreal Pure Clay line. You know what? It's not bad. It's not bad, and it's dirt cheap. This is not going to be cheap. I don't know what the price of this is. This is not cheap. It's glittery. It's called Glow Job. Too Faced needs to stop with those weird sexual illusions. I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. Apparently, if you guys bought the, what is it, the holiday gift bag or whatever, I guess apparently the mascara in there is called Size Queen. Now, I'm not going to even pretend for a second that I know a thing about the world of fetishes, but somebody else went on a rant about how that means something. I don't know. Google it. Not my world. But apparently, it's something. Apparently, Too Faced is just not going to stop throwing in these weird illusions. And as long as Too Faced continues to sell palettes with puppies on the front, I'm getting real mixed messages. Do you want us buying glow jobs and size queens and better than sex? Or puppy dogs that smell like peaches or whatever the latest thing is? I don't know. You gotta find your target audience, and it's totally fine if your target audience is, you know, over the age of 18. I don't have a problem with it. Go look at NARS. NARS, weird though I think some of those names are, at least NARS isn't marketing to 12-year-olds. And that's my problem with Too Faced, because now there's going to be a whole bunch of 12-year-olds asking their moms for glow jobs, and just, that conversation shouldn't happen. Alright, so next up we've got the collaboration with Colourpop and Kathleen Lights, the Dream Street palette. I think there's more in this collection, but I'm just going to focus on the palette. I'm not buying this for two reasons. Number one is I still have a problem with Colourpop's model. I said this a long time ago. I bought a bunch of stuff from Colourpop recently to see if anything had changed. And I gotta tell you guys, at the end of the day, it really hasn't. It really hasn't changed. Colourpop's model is to make as much product as possible to get people to buy as rapidly as they can. And part of this is to price their products low. It's easy to sell people a $16 palette plus $5 shipping. That's pretty easy to do. Most people will say, okay, well, it's not $40. I want it. Yeah, why not? Let's get it. And I wonder, at this point, I feel like at this point, the end of 2017, I think most of you watching this, as well as certainly myself and other YouTubers, have too many eyeshadow palettes. We already have hit the point of saturation. At what point will we look at our palettes and have so many that we can't justify any more purchases? And I always wonder, are cosmetic companies trying to figure out what happens then? Are they trying to figure this out? Because I feel like when you look at things like lipsticks and foundations and primers, all those kind of products that you actually do use up, it's very much in contrast to palettes, which have had a strong moment, but palettes last a really long time. And if you store them well, that little 6 to 12 month mark that you have on the back, that is rarely necessary for that to be there. Powders last a long time. But I think that we're also buying at such rapid rates that we're never going to come close to using up what we bought. And so we have this situation where it's actually, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more lower priced palettes in this Colourpop model just to keep people buying, because okay, I have 100 palettes, but it's only $16. I think that's the point that we're going to reach. And for me, especially when I look at this palette, there's only really 3 shades that are anything kind of interesting. And I hate to anti-haul for that reason, like, oh, I have these colors, but at the same time, it's kind of true. And not just with this palette, with a ton of other Colourpop palettes. I mean, if you have the Yes Please palette, how many of these colors do you have, you know? I have a little bit of an issue with that type of model, because I think that I think that not too many of us want to sit down with our palettes and count how much money we've spent on them. Wouldn't that be depressing? Ooh, that'd be depressing. But when it's a small purchase, it's easier to do, and yet, if you think about it, it's only 63 Colourpop palettes to have spent $1,000 on their palettes. That's kind of a scary thought. That actually is. I mean, I know that sounds like a lot, but I also think a lot of people watching this probably have about 63 palettes, and not necessarily from Colourpop either. I don't really like the model of just more, more, more. I'd like to see people focusing on stuff that's been out for a while. Come on. At least let us enjoy it without having to immediately receive the package in the mail, because you all know Colourpop shipping is slow. Once you get that package, you already got to go buy something else because there's something new on this site. I hate that model. I'm not a fan at all. And the other reason, I'm sure you guys are already familiar with this, there's definitely drama with Kathleen lights, and what it really comes down to for me is that there's no way that I can sit here and make a decision on whether that situation is resolved, whether it was okay, what we should do. It's not my call to make. And until the day that I know that the people who were affected are over it completely forgive her, then I just can't support her. She's been a little wishy-washy in that apology. What saddens me is that Kathleen Lights has so many followers and so much of an influence that she could really turn that negative situation into something very empowering. She really could turn the camera on, give us a demonetized video talking to us about why that's not okay to do, and that she really does apologize. Alright, that is all I have to anti-haul for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, YouTube.